All right, good evening, OPA family and Team Stauber. I am so excited to be with you tonight. I am going to share my Shackley journey. Some of you may have heard parts of my story. Some of you don't even know who I am, and I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Sarah Stauber, and I got involved in Shackley in 1988, it's 35 years ago, by way of um, getting introduced to the Shackley Nature Bright. The Nature Bright took out mold stains from my children's clothing, and a relative had given me the Nature Bright, and I used a lot of Nature Bright. I was very excited. The stains came out as I at first didn't think it was going to come out because I had tried many detergents and nothing worked. And then Nature Bright worked, and I never heard of Shackley before. And so I didn't even know where to go and get this Nature Bright. And so I asked my relative, and she directed directed me to my wonderful upline, Goldie Waldman. And I purchased a product from Goldie, and I asked Goldie, "Are you the only one who can sell these products?" And she said, "No, you can too." You know, we all want that question, right? Why did I ask her that question? Because I realized that if this product works so well for me, it can for others. I'm the oldest of 9 children. My mother had young children. My friends were starting their families. And I said, wow, I can sell this product. This is a great product. And so I started to learn about the Shackley business. I think it cost me about $19 to join the business. And I got a catalog for that. And we were up in the Catskill Mountains at that point. And I remember I took the catalog and I skipped into my mother-in-law's bungalow colony. And I went to my mother's bungalow, and she asked me, what are you doing? What do you have? I said, I don't know. I started a new business. And she says, well, what are you selling? I said, I don't know. Let's look through the catalog together. And so that's how I started. And she said, Sarah, whatever it is, whoever has the last laugh will have the best laugh. And so that was true, because today and for many years, I've been laughing through this business. And so that was in 1988. I started the business. And the first realization that I had that I am doing a business, I always had a very entrepreneurial spirit, but when reality kicks in, well, Sarah, you're going to have to present these products to people. And I'm the kind of gal that is in a group of 3 people, and I'm not the one to speak up. I was terrified of people. I always thought everyone was smarter than me, knew better than I did, and I was not the one to speak up. So this was like, I have to talk in front of people? Like, really? So I remember when Jacob said to me, and Jacob is my husband, for those of you who don't know, my partner in crime for 38 years. And yeah, he's the best, thank God. And he said to me something very profound. He said, if you're going to share something with the people, something that they don't know, they're going to think you're the know-it-all person. And they're going to look up to you, and they're going to seek you out. And that's exactly what happened. So I started sharing information about health and well-being and skincare, and it was really very magical. But I still had my insecurities. I got to share a story with you that happened early on. My brother-in-law had a retail store, and so with the magic marker, we had no computers in 1988. No personal computers anyway. And so I took a sheet of paper with a magic marker, and I wrote my name and my phone number, and that I was a Shackley distributor. And I had, like, here on a piece of paper where my name and phone number, they were able to rip off a little piece and take it home, right? And so I get a now, at that point in time, I was very scared of rich people, people who wore fur coats, people who had a lot of jewelry. I was scared they're rich and they know what they're talking about. I don't. So I get this phone call from a woman who says to me, you sell Shackley? Yeah. You sell a product that takes out stain? Yeah. What is it called? Nature Bright. Does it really work? Yeah. How do you know it works? I tell her my story. And she goes, are you sure it's going to work on taking out some stains on a tablecloth? I said, yeah. She says, I can't believe it. I said, this woman must wear a fur coat. I'm telling you, she wears a fur coat. Okay. And she said, okay, she'll pick up a Nature Bright. And I asked her for a favor. I said, look, I'm very new in this business. I just started. I said, let me know if it works. If it doesn't work, there's a money back guarantee. And if it works, just let me know so I can tell other people. She said, okay. She came to my door and she was wearing a fur coat. Promise. And I asked her to please call me if she liked the product. Goes by a few days or a few weeks, I don't remember. And I didn't get a phone call from her, but I didn't get a phone call, good or bad, nothing. So I called her. I said, I'm new in this business. I want to know how this product works for you. She said, oh, this is fantastic. This works so well. This is like amazing. And so she became a Nature Bright customer. So then there was this other story that I wanted to share. It was just a very interesting beginning of my journey. But at that point in time, I was working part-time for I always did bookkeeping. Bookkeeping was my field. And so I hadn't left my job. I was doing Shackley very part-time and making a very part-time income. And it was okay. I loved what I was doing. I was eager to meet people. I was eager to be a good Shackley rep. I wanted everyone to be happy. And if they weren't happy, I wanted them to return the product. I did not want them to I didn't want them to associate me with a product that wasn't working for them. So I'd rather take it back. Even my PV went down, it didn't matter. At that point in time, my bonus checks were $5, $10, $15, but I still loved my Shackley business. Let's fast forward to 1990. I was working for a real estate management company. I was doing accounts payable, and I had a very responsible job, and I was getting paid $10 an hour. And my boss did not appreciate, he was always out to get me. But I worked, I just did that. We needed the $500 a month that my job was earning us, and we did that. At the end of that year, my husband had finished an entire year of schooling. My husband is the first Yiddish speaking. It's the first language that we have in the Jewish community here in Brooklyn and in Rockland County. He was the first Yiddish speaking social worker that ever graduated. And so he was going to school. And after 1 year of school, it was very hard for him to write his papers, type his papers, and be a full-time worker. He had a job and a full-time student. So he asked me to stop working at the real estate firm, and if I could type his papers. We had a word processor in those days, and you would be able to read one sentence and then type it out. And so I left my job, and my husband said, if you want to do that Shackley thing, do it. You can do that and help me in with my schooling. And so, being the committed wife that I was and am, I did that. And so I left my job, and we went to no, and I started working my Shackley business more diligently. And within 4 months, I replaced my job income. It was only $500 a month. By December of 1991, we were earning $500 a month, and I was ecstatic, and I was okay. I helped Jacob through school, and it was really nice. It was nice to know that I could build my business and that I could also help my husband. And then we got a computer. And Jacob said, bye, I don't need your help anymore. I can do it myself. And I was happy. And at the same time, my husband said, now with Shackley, it's either up or out. It doesn't make sense for you to be an assistant supervisor. He says, assistants work harder than the supervisors. and they make less money. And so it was the time I said, well, what do I need to do to build my business to the next level? And that was basically do the same thing, tell the story over and over again, just to different people, right? And so that's what we did. And in 1994, we became supervisors. It was a wonderful journey and it was a wonderful accomplishment. Somewhere in 1995, I met the most wonderful lady, my mentor, a woman that I still love and adore, loved and adored then. And we are all here on this call together because of my lovely upline, Mary Loomis. I called Mary Loomis. Why? Again, I was scared of people who had a lot of money, and I knew she lived in Beverly Hills, and I was terrified to pick up the phone and call Mary. But what prompted me to call her was well, let me back up. I think there was a conference in Vancouver. I did not qualify for that conference. But in Vancouver, at that conference, the first 4 herbal products that Shaklee made was introduced at that conference. For those of you who remember, I wasn't there. I remember Goldie Waldman was there, and she came home and she told me about these herbal products, and I could not pronounce any of them. I mean, echinacea, and it was echinacea plus and valerian root, and she said that she spoke to the rabbi and that these products were going to become kosher. A few months down the road, I got a letter from the kosher certification organization that said that these products will not be kosher. And I was devastated. And I said, I am going to call Mary Loomis. Now, I don't know why I'm calling Mary Loomis, but I'm going to call Mary Loomis. Anyway, so I picked up the phone. It was, I think, a Saturday night. And it must have been in the winter because it was early. And I called her and I told her who I was and that I was very disappointed and what could we do about kosher? And she gave me some ideas and I was ready to put down the phone, but she wasn't ready to put down the phone. And she said, Sarah, tell me about yourself. Is she really interested in me? I thought, like, what? This rich lady in Beverly Hills or Reno, I don't remember where she lived then, is really interested in who I am and what I am, and I should tell her about myself. And I was very impressed. And she asked me about my marriage and my family and what I did. And her interest was so genuine. It was so real. It was over the phone. It felt so good. And I told her about how I loved my Shaklee business and how I wanted it to grow and how much I wanted to learn. And she saw something in me that I had not seen myself. So here's a learning lesson. We all have blind spots for ourselves, and we can always see the best in others. And we need to look, sometimes it's on the surface, sometimes we need to look for it. But if we can manage to look for the good in people and tell them about it, and you can even ask them, did anyone ever tell you how smart you are? Or did anyone ever tell you that you are dash, dash, dash? That is going to make a huge difference in people because this is what people are looking for. This is what gravitates people to ourselves, is our personality to be able to bring the best out in others. And so Mary was sincere, she was kind, she was curious, and she was interested in people. And every time I spoke to her, she would ask me about one child or the other. And I was like, does she really remember? Until she showed me her deck of cards. And she had like such a pile of cards with information about people. But that was really amazing because every time I spoke to Mary, I felt like $1 million. I didn't do a meeting without Mary, talking to Mary first. She always, always helped me. Even if she didn't tell me a word, she just listened to me. I said, she just listened to me. I said, Mary, we're doing the next meeting. This is how it's going to go. What do you think? She goes, okay, what's on the agenda? And I go, Mary, I don't know. All of a sudden, everything falls into place after I talk to you. So that was a tremendous thing. And a few days after, I told Mary that I was very eager to learn about Shaklee as much as I can. You know what Mary did? Rob, you remember. I got a box that weighed 13 pounds with sales aids, that had videos and audio tapes and books and papers and you name it, it was there. I mean, today we just have to send one file of email and send a YouTube video. It doesn't cost anything. Back in that days, 13 pounds. I don't know how much postage she paid, but she did. And she wrote me this beautiful letter to it, and she trusted me because she wanted me to learn what I was looking for. A couple of things that I learned from Mary outside of her personality was build 7 levels deep. 7,000 PV, 7 levels deep. Even if you're not getting paid on your 7th level yet, they say you never know what's going to happen down the road, if anyone is going to go out, if there's going to be compression and they're going to compress up to you. You want to build 7,000 PV, 7 levels deep. That's how you build a very stable business. But then she went on to say, we need chicken coop directors because we need our business to be balanced. Not everyone's going to turn into a leader. And so we need those extra directors who are just going to be in the coop, sell the products, get a nice check, and enjoy life that way. Mary taught me always tell your story like you're saying it for the first time. You know, sometimes when we talk about our story, it can sound boring to us, like, yeah, we're going to rattle it off. But always think about the person who is listening. They're listening to it for the first time. They're interested. Say it with the same enthusiasm. Okay. Over the year, I learned much more from Mary, but these are the most important things that came to mind. So I want to move on. Over the years, we earned many cars and trips. And in the first year, 1996, we qualified for our trips in 1995 and went on the trips in 1996. In 1996, from November to November, we went on 3 trips. We went to San Francisco, the New Supervisors Convention, which was a gorgeous trip. And we went as senior supervisors. We then went to Maui, Hawaii, and we went to Lisbon, Portugal. In Maui, Hawaii, at least not in 1996, there was no kosher food, anything, nothing. So first of all, Shackley had ordered food for us that came in from, I think, LA. And they prepared this huge basket of fruits that were not cut up. And they gave us a couple of extra protein shakes because, you know, that was kosher. And then Mary Loomis, because we went in our first, you know, in that first year, we were coordinators already. And so Mary paid us another 2 nights to stay in Hawaii in a different hotel. And then she made this beautiful event in her house. I don't know who, anyone was there in Maui, Hawaii, 1996. Mary had a condominium on a corner, in the corner of the building, and you were able to see the Pacific Ocean. It was gorgeous. And so Goldie Waldman and myself and Jacob and her husband were there. And Mary asked what she can serve us, and nothing was really kosher. And then Jacob spotted beer. And he said, I can have that beer. I wish I had a picture from Mary's face. She was so excited that Jacob can have beer, and the beer was kosher, and it was fantastic. Anyway, and that year we went to Lisbon, Portugal, which was also a gorgeous trip. When we got to Lisbon, Portugal, this is just so you understand who Shackley Corporation is and the heart of that company. Shackley asked us to bring our own food, and that they gave us a couple of $100 to bring that food. I can't remember how much it was. And so I froze a bunch of food, put it in an ice box, and then I had another suitcase of dried foods that came along with us. When we arrived to Portugal, we went through London. We had a stopover in London. When we arrived to Portugal, all our suitcases arrived except the frozen box of dinners. And it was not fun. And so Shackley asked us if they gave us money and said, go buy anything you can. And then they found a place, the synagogue, and there's one synagogue in Lisbon who was the rabbi's wife was cooking, and she sold food. And so we got a couple of dinners from them. And then the food from London arrived, solid, frozen. So Shackley always respected our culture and our religion, and they always went out of their way to serve us and make sure that we were happy and that we had the food we needed. So, you know, when you're working with a company like this, it just makes your heart feel so happy and so good. And I'm not saying that we never had challenges in this business, but the fact that we were able to, you know, deal with a company, and I feel that the network marketing industry as a whole, and Shackley especially, is such a noble business to be in, because we have the ability to make this huge difference in people's lives in whichever way we're called to do. And so being in a company like this who's so sensitive to your needs has kept me going even when it was rough. And I'm not saying it was never rough. There were times that it was rough. I want to talk about my journey to master coordinator. Becoming a master coordinator was a very pivotal moment in our life. And so here's how it started. This must have been in November or December of 2003. Mary Loomis calls me. She says, Sarah, Shackley's getting a new owner. He's a very nice guy. I want you to become his first master coordinator. What does this remind you of? This is called casting a vision. Sarah, I want you to become his first master coordinator. And she would call me very often to see how I was tracking. And so what happened was I needed everyone, all my army people here, I needed them to be involved because I was going to be, Mary was watching me. This was a problem. She was keeping close tab, and I needed to do this by hook or by crook. And a very interesting thing happened. I sat my kids down. At that point, I had 6 children. No, I had, I had 6. Yeah, I lost track. I had 6 children. And I told them that I was working to becoming the top rank in Shackley master coordinator. And I needed them to encourage me to do it. And I asked them, and if I become a master coordinator by the end of June, what would you like me to gift you with? And so one said this and one said that. I said, you know what? I got a deal, kids. Everyone gets $100. All right. And so I got to work, and it was good because what happened was, you know, it was like, it wasn't so much about them encouraging me as to not have any complaints and any, you know, not any, Ma, you're so busy with Shackley. No. Come, just encourage me. I need your encouragement. And so when we became master coordinators in June, and it was only announced right in the middle of July, my kids were in camp. They were in sleepaway camp. Most of them were in sleepaway camp. And they called home, each one whenever they called home. And I said, you know, we made it to master. None of them asked me for the money. They said, wow, Ma, you deserve it. You worked hard. And along the way, all of these years, my children were taught how to deal with customers, how to deal with people, how to ask and say thank you, how to be kind, how to deal with people. And that was just one of those advantages, the fringe benefits that we have as parents, for young parents who are building their business, to do is just to have these children who become so mature and so understanding when you're building your business and involved, and they get involved. I wrote some notes that I can't read. Big problem. So in 2004, we became master coordinators, and it was a very big time for us. It was really a wonderful feeling for me to get to know Roger. It was like I was Roger's first, and I'm still his first, and it's kind of nice. But I think we're very lucky with Roger at the helm. But when you think about it, I don't know who was here. I mean, Alan and the Madorans and Rob and all that. I wonder, were you involved when before Roger bought the company? Rob, were you? Were you
Yes,
very? You
yes.
were? All right. So I said I always tell Angel Torres, I said, Angel, you and Peter Christoph and Eddie Cannon were the three people who saved Shackley Corporation. You know that? And they really did save Shackley Corporation. I mean, we could have gone down God knows where. So I'm always indebted to Angel about that, because he really kept an eye on us and had us work, and so that this company didn't go down. And so I think Roger brought a great vision to the company. I wish we were a little further ahead than we are, but still we're here and we're grateful, and we can always make this business um grow. So when I started to grow my business, and what I want to talk about is then and now. Then and now. It's different days. And really, I don't always like to tell my kids, like, when I was a kid, this is what I did, and they're gonna, they're like, Ma, leave me alone. Like, they can't even comprehend to it. But I do want to talk about then and now. I'm not even going to tell you what you should do then. I'll tell you what I did then and now. And so back in the days, we would schlep boxes of stuff to events. I schlep boxes of stuff to events 3 times a week. I just told you the secret why I grew so fast from a director to a coordinator. 3 times a week, I was out doing events. I left my kids behind. My sisters used to babysit for me. I was very lucky, and I went out to do events. We can still do the same today. We just don't have to love boxes. We have the ability to do it like we're doing this now, or even if we do go out, we don't have to love boxes. We just take along a couple of stuff, and I'm going to show you my stuff here. This is my, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but this is my pack of, I don't think you can see it because I have that background. I have this little thingy. I take along some order forms, some catalogs. I take along because let me just back up. I'm a little fast. My focus now is children's health. I created a wonderful presentation, not presentation notes, on the information that I share. I have this little packet that I take along. It's rocking heads. I am telling you. I did it on a conference call one night. It was just such a success. And what I'm doing differently now than then is I am sharing information with people that are not Shackley related. Shackley's catching up to that now and starting to do the free groups. I've been doing it before the free groups. I share information that is so valuable that people want to listen for more. And so that's, I think, the key today. I think that's the whole thing when online and offline is to share information. Look, I'm a very experienced person. I've been mothering for 37 years straight. My oldest is 37. My youngest just left to rabbinical college. He's 16 and a half. I have 6 children married, and our grandchildren are exponential growth, thank God. But today, it's a different world. And because there's so much out there, you want to bring your experience to the marketplace. That's how people will get attracted to you. It's not about how successful you are in Shackley. It's not about how much knowledge you have about the products. It's what could you share outside of Shackley that will attract people to you. Who are you? What have you got to share? What experiences do you have to share? that will attract people to you. I personally am a very big believer in the free groups because, again, the free groups is sharing information outside of Shackley. And so I've heard some people weren't so excited about it. They're thinking about it. Is this going to make the company grow? Is that going to make the company go? Forget about all that nonsense. Okay. This is a fantastic way to prospect people, to bring people together and teach them about the importance of drinking water and let them do a contest about it. The importance about eating a rainbow diet and let them do a contest about it and reward them with something. It's a fantastic idea. It may make the process a little slower because you may be, if it wasn't only the free groups, you would be sharing Shackley a little earlier, but that's okay. Once you get into the system of doing this, what happens? Ultimately, the train's going to catch up with you. If this becomes part of your DNA of doing this kind of stuff, then ultimately you're going to be ahead of the game, not a week behind or 2 weeks behind in sharing information. As I'm coaching people in this business, here's my greatest message to all of you is I think it's very important to understand that when we start working with a new person, yes, they have to follow us. Yes, we want to embrace them and show them and teach them what works. But it's so important for people to find themselves here. It took me time to find myself here. It took me time. We have to understand because someone's having success and maybe we're trying to copy something from them, we can't beat them. Don't even try. If you're going to put any effort in, it's not about putting effort in and trying to be someone else. It's about finding yourself, being authentic, knowing where your heart is, what is important for you to share, what kind of difference do you want to make in a person's life? And I'm telling you, you're going to become unstoppable. Does anyone remember VoiceCom? We used to have those messages, right?
Right.
In the very beginning, there were a huge amount of Shackley people on VoiceCom. And Gary Burke and his team, and I think Rod Larkin, is Rod Larkin on the Gary Burke? I can't remember, but
yeah,
he is. And so Rod Larkin said that he came up with some type of presentation, but he's not going to tell anyone how he does it. Some people thought he was mean. But the reason he didn't want to talk about it, what he was doing, was because he owned that. And that's what we have to do. We have to take ownership of our business. Don't try to copy anyone. Don't even try to copy anyone's presentation. You have to personalize it because that's the when you're going to own it. And when you own it, nobody can take that away from you. That's what you're going to share over and over again. So find yourself in this business, teach people to find themselves in this business, find out. Yes, you have to learn skills here, but and everyone's going to learn the skills a little different, but just find yourself here and then nobody can take that away. Nobody can take away my Shackley business from me. I love it. I love it for the last 35 years. And hey, listen, I started this business when I had 2 kids. God bless, I'm 55 now. You know that women my age are scrambling what to do. Some of them are thinking of going back to school. Some of them are dead bored. Some of them are depressed. I'm coming out of my years of being a mother so close to my children with a 6-figure income business. That's a big deal. It's a big deal. And that's my message to everyone. So thank you everyone for listening. If you have any questions, you can ask me. If I'm done.
Sarah, I do have a question. Thank you first for your wonderful presentation. I didn't know your story. I knew you had a lot of children. I knew you basically supported your family. But is it true that when Roger came on board, there was not a kosher multivitamin, multimineral Vital E? and within a
Was.
short period of time, it was done. Is that true?
No, well, the kosher multi was, no, that was before Roger came.
Oh, it was, okay.
Before Roger came. Well, what happened was since Roger came and kosher is that one of the things that the scientists always have to look at is that when they come out with a new product is, can we make it kosher? That's a very important thing. But no, the multivitamin was kosher before Roger came. Yeah.
Sarah, I wanted to thank you for your presentation. You are so, I mean, you are everything that you've asked other people to be. You are so authentic. You care so deeply about people. You are working to help them be the best they can be. And your story is just so down to earth, matter of fact. And I think everybody can relate to you. So thank you.
Thank you, Barb. That means a lot to me. Your comments mean a lot to me. I mean, I've watched you and you guys are so fantastic. So thank you so much. All right. So that's it from me. Have a good night, everyone.
Sarah, that was just super. Thank you so much for sharing your story. And as you said, tell it to lots of new people. So that's really a wonderful message. Thank you.
You know,
Thank you, Sarah.
you know, Sarah, the old adage that facts tell but stories sell. And tonight is a perfect example of that.
Yeah, yeah.
No one got bored. You had people in the palm of your hand as you were going through one episode after another.
Well,
And
thank you, Rob. Thank
Yeah.
you. I think that's what we want to do on these OPA calls because I think we all have so much experience here. And yet, you know, Rob, you have your key leaders, right? Your key leaders that everyone's doing their own thing with their groups. And so I think that programs and are not so important here. I think it's just those lessons, those momentous lessons that carry us through to build this business are so important. And so I wish that everyone did this going forward, just to share their.
Sarah, great job, by the way. And Rob was right. I mean, I was with you for the whole time. You kept my attention. I had not heard your whole story before, and it was great. But with you and Alan on the call tonight, it just reminds me that you guys remember I put together this compensation test for the Dream Plan? And I sent it out to 22 master coordinators. I didn't send it to Rob because I knew he would pass it. So, but I sent it out to 22 master coordinators. There were only 4 master coordinators that got all 6 of the questions right. You and Alan Sherapin, and 2 others. It was just, I was just thinking about it when I saw you, both of you there on the screen. You're right together, and it just got my memory that you 2 were the 2 that got all 6 questions right, and most did not. So you know the comp plan. That is great.
Yes, and we just have, I think it's a great comp plan, and we just really have to utilize it better. And I think that the more people we help, just the more people, the more money we make, right? That's the checks are just a testament to how many no's we went through.
Yeah, sure. Very
And
good. Great
Sarah,
job.
thank you, Sarah, but thank you for always being there because you see, lots of us here miss Mary and we miss Mary from forever. And we will continue to always miss her and keep her in our heart. But Mary left behind the Sarahs of the world in our Shackley family, in our personal OPA family. And I always know that I can come to you at any time. I can come to anybody that's on here at any time. And you guys are all here for me all of the time. I mean, even Rob puts up with me. So there you have it, you know. And so thank you. Thank you, Sarah, for how you present and how you're always there. Appreciate it. I love you.
Thank you so much, Ro. And I feel the same thing about you. And you keep your ruby slippers clicking all the time.
And Sarah, please thank Jacob for sharing with us.
I will. Yeah, well, he's just the same Jacob, always proud, always supportive. And can I say one more thing?
Sure.
I'm taking a course now with Richard Blissbrook. I forgot the name of this course, but it's based on Mach 2. You can see the book, okay. And if you can ever get hold of that course, I think it's going to be life-changing. I'm just going through a transformation with that. So, or if you know anyone in your organizations that need that kind of help, I think it's really a fantastic course. I'm going to give you the name of the course. Hold on a second. I don't know when he's going to offer it next, but I want you guys to keep it in mind because it is just so. Hold on, where is it? I just want to, it's worth knowing about this course. It's called Live Your Bliss Life Transformation Program. I think he does it once a year, and I was just lucky to stumble upon it today, a few weeks ago, and it's great. It's a great course to take. All right,
So
folks.
before we close, this Friday night starts the Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah. So Sarah, a very healthy, happy, prosperous, wonderful, joyous New Year to you and your family.
Thank you.
Yes.
And the same to all of you. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Alan. You're so sweet for reminding me. I mean, I might go downstairs
You
to my
didn't need
kitchen. You'll
reminded.
see.
You've been cooking all week, probably.
I baked amazing stuff today. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. It was nice to be with you. See you.
You
Bye.
too. Good
Thank
night,
you,
everyone.
everybody. Have a good evening.
Great call.
Thank you.